Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our third day of our Precious Metals and Critical Minerals Conference. The next presentation of the day is from Graphene Manufacturing Group. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Craig Nickel, Founder, Managing Director, and Chief Executive Officer of Graphene Manufacturing Group, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol GMGMF and on the TSXV under the symbol GMG. Welcome back, Craig.
Thank you very much for having me back, Greg. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of OTC Markets. GMG is an Australian public company listed on the TSXV as well as the OTCQX. We're near 10 years old. We have our operations in Australia, but we have salespeople around the world, and our board is American and Australian. The usual disclaimer for a fast moving, hopefully high growth company such as ours. The products that we make are four. Three of them already in the market. They're all focused on the energy transition. The energy transition, we believe, is going to be very bumpy. It's going to take decades, and we need to help both sides of the hydrocarbon industry to move towards the battery renewable industry, as well as help the industry in batteries get there faster. Our products are all aimed at this, and they're all global scale, and they're all world leading. Our first product is a energy saving coating, which is providing both corrosion resistance as well as fast moving heat. And this can be used in various different areas, including air conditioning, refrigeration, LNG plants, and data centers, which is going to become more and more important, I think, for this product category. Engine oil additive, which has been proven to save 10% fuel. This is an additive into your engine oil, can work in basically all engine oils. This is just been released over the last year, and it's creating a strong following through early sales, and we're building this into a global distribution network, which I'll go into shortly. Super G is an additive for lithium-ion batteries. This is being tested by a number of large battery companies. This was announced only a year ago as well. And last but definitely not least, we have our graphene aluminium-ion battery, which we're the sole developer for with Rio Tinto, University of Queensland, and the Battery Innovation Center of Indiana. All of our graphene products are made with our graphene that we make ourselves, which is the genesis of the company and the core competence of the company. We started making graphene about 9 years ago. We make it from natural gas. We built our own special process which enables it to crack that methane with small microwave energy, and then you create your hydrogen and your graphene powder. That graphene powder is then optimized for each of the different applications we just talked about before, and that has enabled us to be able to control the quality per batch and then get the quality of the graphene to where we need it for each application, which is super important for these applications. We are working on bringing our Gen 2 reactor into operation by mid this year. We announced this early last year. That project is on track to look at getting 20 times more higher production per hour per unit. And this, we believe, is the future of the company. The project is going well, and we'll come at that shortly on some news. But what that means is we'll be able to produce the graphene for a low cost and continue to expand at a lower capital rate than we currently have. We announced at the end of last year one of the more key milestones of our development with a number of different OEMs around the world. In Australia right now, when you call up a Bayer Ref, a wholesaler for chillers or air conditioning units, you can be asked, would you like graphene with that on the coating? Truly revolutionary next step of service. BASF is the largest, world's largest refrigeration HVAC wholesale distributor in the world. And they have a very large market share in Australia. To get to this level of service, we've had to put in place 9 workshops around the country, and with a coating that has now been seen as the Product of the Year award in Australia for air conditioning industry, and won many different awards, as we'll talk about later. We had worked with BASF for many years to get to this point, and we believe this is how we see other OEMs come to the market. After years of work, we hopefully will announce others like this with Bayer. We've also announced at the end of last year the full palletization of our products. Palletization of a product is a very major feat. You have to have everything barcoded we have it in 16 languages, so every different product has 16 language labels, and it has to be consumable, low cost to be able to scale, which we did all of last year. This is enabling basically the product to be sold to any company in the world or any distributor in the world, and then you shift the focus on how do I use the product to how do I make money off the product, so the customers can then distribute it to their heart's content. This is really the first graphene product of its type to be palletized such as this. The 2 product ranges, obviously the G Lubricant, which is the engine oil additive, and the Thermal XR coating is the main focus here. They have wide applications, and we're allowing people to buy them through distributors and then use them as they need. So it broadens our, I guess, channel to market, and also broadens many different geographies into the mix. We continue to grow our sales force around the world, and the market opportunities are growing as a result. We have now 9 salespeople in Europe, 2 in Singapore, 4 in Australia, and 1 in America. We'll be soon switching on more in Asia. We are currently sitting at about 20% sales force of the total entire company. Our goal is to get to 80%, which would be 200 salespeople roughly globally. So you can see how we want to grow the business. We have products now which are scalable, low cost, high margin, can be sold anywhere in the world. With 16 languages. Now the next case is to sell and build the sales engine. So we built the sales engine at the start of the build at the end of last year. We will be switching on many new salespeople quite rapidly through this year to start to bring in significant revenue, that's we hope. We have a number of different strategic OEM companies that we are working with. Basically all of these verticals here you can see we're working with in some way, shape or form, usually the largest in that industry. Some of these sectors, some of these companies will take a long time to get to be able to, I guess, commercialize our products with their products. Some of them want to be quite open and honest about it to the world. Some of them want transparent. Some of them want to hide the technology because there's a competitive advantage. And some of them are not really worried about it. Probably most are in the case where they don't want to tell people that they're actually working with us or want to commercialize because they want to keep it as a competitive advantage because we can really change the way their products work. Rio Tinto is one that does want to talk and communicate. We are global, working with them on our battery and our other products. And we work with them on the co-development of the product of the battery, and we still are. So that is one example of how one company wanted to come out and tell people and be transparent, which was fantastic. Rio Tinto is a great company to work with, obviously one of the largest mining companies in the world. The Thermal XR commercial progress has certainly broadened and deepened over the last year. And you can see with the announcement of Bayer launch that we have certainly got to the business end of the commercialization process, at least that OEM, and there'll be others we believe will come out shortly. This is in the air conditioning area, the refrigeration, heat sinks for electronics, and the LNG area. But an area that is really, I guess, coming quite fast and thick is the data center space. We have a product which is already patented and is quite low cost, can offer supreme advantage over pretty much nothing else out there of this type. Really, there's no competitor in this space, and data centers are urgently needing a way to remove energy costs or reduce their energy as much as possible. In some cases, there's not enough energy to actually start their data centers up, so they have to build their own. I'm sure you've heard of this. AI data centers are 6 times more power hungry than a normal data center, so they're even more focused on energy savings. And it's all about removing heat. And that's what we do. We double the heat transfer when we have our coating over normal metal, aluminium, for instance. We are the first graphene product or coating product to be approved by the Singapore government as a Singapore Green Building product. We have the Good Award, which means we're 10% energy saving. We've done significant work with them to get to that, and we continue to work in Singapore. It's a great place where power costs are high and lots of cooling is required. We were obviously also, as I said before, we were listed as awarded the Product of the Year award for the air conditioning industry in Australia. That's a big industry. 25% of the power in Australia goes towards air conditioning, as you'd expect. So we are getting the high notes on where we can be seen as changing people's beliefs that this can be added into the future. The air conditioning, refrigeration, data center industries, they're all, I would say, slow to change. They need everything to be tested before anything happens. They need to be, they need to be risk averse around change, technical change, because their products are expected to last for a very long time. So it does take a long time to bring these products into these industries. But once they are there, you can become the standard, which is what I guess we hope to be. The largest market for air conditioning coatings by far is in the Americas. USA has been having air conditioning coatings for some time and for many decades, and is by far the largest market. We are partnered there with a company called New Calgon, which is the Cadillac of HVAC chemicals. They have 4,000 distribution points around North America, and we are waiting for the EPA consent notice. We were given the EPA consent conditions at the end of last year, which we made a press release about. We have accepted those, so we're just waiting now for the document to sign, which we believe is imminent. There has been no issue in between then and now. It just does take time. The EPA has many opportunities that they're trying to work through. So once that consent notice is signed by us and by the EPA, we are free to export, which is a significant step forward for, I guess, our industry, graphene industry, obviously New Calgon, America, and then definitely our company. The next steps for this are to basically take care of the multiple leads that have come in over the last 2 years as we've been trying to process the EPA approval. An EPA approval is by no means a small feat. When we attacked this, we thought we could go with a small 10-ton approval, which would have provided a reasonable amount of revenue, many millions of dollars, because it's 10 ton of graphene and a very small amount of graphene per paint. However, the EPA changed their attack on this, so we had to put in a full PMN. So the PMN is a full, basically unlimited volume, unlimited application, except how it's prescribed, application. So hence, once this is approved, we will be able to go into basically every application that, and by law, which is a huge advantage and another technical advantage over just on top of the patent and the ability to make the product. G Lubricant performance has continued to be verified by many different customers who have been buying and using the product. We tend to get around 10%, although you can get a lot higher for fuel saving. This is a significant burden from, I guess, a whole transport fleet. There's a $4 trillion worth of liquid fuels that are bought every year, including the taxes that come with them. That's including the diesel and the gasoline. Now, this is a 10% fuel saving, so arguably this product has a value of around $400 billion. So that's the full market say. We're not saying that's where we're going to get to, but that is the full market value of this product. There is nothing else like it. The patent is almost complete. It's going through its process. And when we get that, we'll be announcing that. So that would be a 20-year patent on a product which has enormous energy savings or fuel savings. It has opportunity in first world fleets. Typically can get to say 5 to 10% in brand new trucks, but in older trucks it can push more like 20%, 10 to 20%. And it's a simple addition of 1 to 100. This technology has been taken 8 years or so to get here. Lots of testing. The work, how this works, is truly revolutionary. It's not like a normal material that you add in to soften or remove the heat or the metal stripping. It actually works in a completely different way of removing heat of the oil, and hence, it is next generation engine additive. We are talking to different engine oil companies to look at potentially adding this in as a complete new brand for them. That will take time. I was the marketing manager for Shell Lubricants in the industry sector when I was about half my age, so when I was 26, and it does take 3 to 5 years to get a new engine oil in. In the meantime, we're focusing on getting additives sold through distributors around the world, and you could hopefully see this appearing in a store near you. You can get it on Amazon already. The EPA approval is needed. It needs to be worked through just like our other EPA approval, with the EPA needing a number of minor differences. We feel like this could be as probably faster to get to than the thermal XR approval, but we will need to work through that. In the meantime, we're obviously working with every other country in the world that we're approved to supply to. As and when we create new distribution ships and work with different companies in the space, we'll be announcing those. But at this time, a lot of sales are happening just to get people to be aware of it, and they need to absorb it and understand it before they can go to the next level. Super G is an additive for lithium-ion batteries. This is the study that shows that we have 2.5 times less resistivity than normal graphite for our lithium-ion batteries. This is a significant difference, and it's enough to make any battery company wanting to test it, and hence that's why we had many who did test it. This difference, I guess, compared to standard Chinese supplied anode is significant enough to make people wanting to work out how to blend it into their existing lithium-ion batteries. It basically makes lithium-ion batteries faster charging, more efficient, what's called a rate tolerance, which means you can change the rate of speed faster and it holds longer. And then in the end, more energy density as well. A graphene aluminium-ion battery the update on this was announced at the end of last year. We have been progressing this for the last 4 years, and we are working on a targeted battery use case of large B2B trucks for Rio Tinto. They need to be able to re-electrify their truck as fast as they would normally do a refill the diesel in their truck, which is about 5 minutes. Currently, lithium-ion batteries will take 30 minutes minimum if you actually want to get any life out of that lithium without it actually starting to deteriorate faster, or potentially have other problems like potentially blowing up if you try to charge it too fast. Our battery is chiefly focused on a 6-minute charge cycle. We announced that we got that significantly away at the end of last year, and we are progressing through that. We'll come out shortly and say where we got to. We are going through this last phase of electrical chemical optimization in our view. chiefly focused on having a very fast charging, long life cycle battery. The way the charge cycle, for any battery geeks out there, the way the charge cycle looks is like this. You can see the energy capacity in the blue line, which is how long the capacity gets in 1 hour. And then you can see the green line, that's how long capacity gets in 6 minutes. Majority of the charge is actually only in 4 minutes. So this is a very fast charging battery, which we believe will be, in the end, lower cost than lithium, very, very low risk of fire, and long life. We're looking at, we're aiming for a 10,000 cycle battery for this 6 minute charge, which would inevitably be a battery for life, and then highly recyclable, of course, as well. We expect it to be sitting in plastic packs like this, like in lead acid batteries, for battery packs. This is where we see another advantage is that we won't highly likely need any cooling, which is a big weight constraint, energy density benefit, and obviously battery life opportunity as well. So what market opportunities exist for this battery? It is very similar to the LTO, the lithium titanium oxide battery. These are basically some of the most expensive batteries in the world right now. They sit at around energy density of 50 to 80 watt hours per kilogram. We're sitting at about a 58 watt hours per kilogram in our last announcement. And it's about a $6 billion market. It'll grow to about $12.5 billion by 2030. Toshiba is the market leader. There are other companies coming in to compete. But what this battery offers, I guess our battery offers, is a far lower price. There's price points for LTO can be anywhere up to $1,500 a kilowatt hour, which is 15 times what you're currently paying for a lithium-ion battery, or even higher. So we expect to be able to come way in under that, just because of the sheer cost of materials and easier to manufacture. Our cost and our materials are focused on just using existing lithium-ion battery equipment, and obviously far more available raw materials, being aluminium and carbon. We don't have any lithium or copper, just to be clear. It is basically a lithium and an aluminium and carbon battery. The BTRL readiness level of this battery is currently at 4, and it is in the next phase where we start to scale up to 5 and 6 and the 7 and the 8. This is a focus on bringing the scale in on the cell manufacturing and the material manufacturing. We see this next phase as potentially faster than others, because it is quite a simple battery to make. Obviously, time will tell, but we see BTRL 4, which we are right now, the most complicated part of the phase, because it's the electrical chemical optimization of a brand new technology. Once we get through that, which we hope to do shortly, we'll be into 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a number of companies who are looking to partner with us to potentially add scale. And then once we're through that, we'll be into the 9, which is a commercial scale gigawatt plant. So the next phase for this is, once we've actually finalized the electrochemistry, which we aim to do shortly, we'll be going into the phase of pilot plant, which will do the 5, 6, 7, 8, because we basically make all the materials ourselves, majority of the materials. And then we'll then be using that plant to basically talk to companies around the world who would like to either license or work with us on expansion plants for phase 9. So what that means is this year is focusing on getting the cells out for JD Partners to test. There's a number who've already put their hands up, and there are many others who've said they want to work with us once we're final. And then 2027, we'd be looking to supply to customers with our pilot plant. So our GMG operations looks like this. A bit of a overview so that you can understand how we actually pull this together. We take natural gas from the grid. We don't do any pre-processing. We turn that into graphene or carbon and then hydrogen with some enriched natural gas. That will eventually power our process, so we'll make our own power. Majority of the power will actually come from our what we call tail gas from our graphene plant. Then we have a heat exchange coating blend plant, a engine oil additive blend plant, a Super G graphene slurry plant, and then that goes into our battery. So the Super G is kind of half of our battery, and we have a battery development center in Australia right now. So when we look to go and put this in other parts of the world, and obviously America and Canada, the two places that you would do this with 10 times less lower priced natural gas, then you would be looking at copying all of the white, I guess, hexagons. Those are the plant that we would put in North America and in Canada, so we can start producing and in scale at much lower natural gas cost. So let's look at our financial capability. Obviously, in the end game, it's all about making money for our shareholders. Our cash on hand is that, but you can see there's a number of warrants that have been reduced since our reporting at the end of last year. So many millions of warrants have come in, so our cash on hand has actually gone up significantly. And we've building revenue now, which we're tracking with near 15 salespeople, and we'll be growing that sales force, as we said. So we aim to grow that sales revenue significantly over the next 2 years. We have still cash coming back from the Australian government every year for all of the R&D that we do. Last year we got nearly over $2 million from that, which is cash back into our account. You can still see we have some warrants, and most of them are in the money. There are a good sort of warrants that will be coming off at the end of this year, but there are definitely warrants in the money. And if you can think of why we're seeing some fluctuation in the market, it's because there are millions of warrants coming in and then going out. We do need to flush out the warrants, and that is important for us to grow into the next phase as a company. But it's also giving us a significant amount of cash. So they do come with benefits. Otherwise, no debt. This slide just shows you some comparatives around what other graphene companies are out there. We have built a business in multiple industries, multiple pack sizes, able to be expanded and sold product all over the world. And in the last 10 years, arguably five different verticals: graphene powder, coating, energy saving coating, which is truly leading, energy saving lubricant additive, which is truly world leading, a graphene additive for lithium-ion batteries, which is again truly world leading, and aluminium-ion battery, which is again truly world leading. All of these are being developed by ourselves, or we have acquired it and owned it and developed it further. The aluminium-ion electrolyte is going to be a very key part of the battery, and we have developed this by ourselves, with University of Queensland, and obviously with the help of Rio Tinto. This electrolyte, which will basically power aluminium-ion batteries going into the future, we believe will be a significant part of our business going forward. We basically became an electrolyte company over the last 2 years, optimizing all of the parts of the battery. So highlights: proprietary, low-cost, scalable production technology, and that's clear. We just need a lower-cost gas, and then we're starting to be very competitive versus the graphite that you see that coming out of China. For lithium-ion batteries, high margin, first to market, full solution in global scale sectors, truly in trillion-dollar markets where we will be playing in world-leading positions. Multiple revenues coming in. You can see the Bayer launch. You can see the small pack outcome, and we're just waiting on the consent notice to sign with the EPA. And then we have obviously a focus on their market forces, which I think it's fair to say energy prices are not going to go down. They're going to continue to go up. or stay equal at least for some time. And energy efficiency and energy storage are going to continue to be, I guess, be important focus of different markets around the world. And so hence, to be the thought leader and to be the product leader in this space is, you know, obviously not just success. It's been many years to get here, but we believe that's going to set us up for success even further. And then as a potential expansion to North America, in markets and obviously capital markets as well. Of questions, and there's many questions actually. Let me just try to see what I can do for Thermal XR in 2026. Great question. We've got salespeople now working on bulk fluids. We've got people working on export pallets for distributors around the world who can, you know, supply to various different countries. And because we have all the languages already there, and then we have obviously the bulk orders already in for new Calgon, and then we have a number of OEMs who, you know, who are testing it for manufacturing plants. But obviously Bayer has already launched that. We should expect to see them launch around the world as well, because they're in 40 countries. That is truly revolutionary what we've done there, what Bayer's done there, and we're working with them to help them deliver that. 1 week turnaround graphene coating on any coil they have in the country. And so you can see the opportunity is quite large. The data center space is really quite scary. There's anywhere from 0.1 liter to 1 liter required per NVIDIA chip. Most data centers can be 500,000 to 1 million NVIDIA chips. So one data center could be anywhere from 100,000 liters to 1 million liters. And those are the kind of conversations we're trying to work through. So the space for Thermal XR, I think, has come from air conditioning, refrigeration, now into how do we help the biggest heat factories in the world remove heat, which are data centers, which I think will really pay us good stead. We'll be able to help them in spaces that there's really no other alternative. There's the next question. Will Thermal XR reach 25,000 hours under the salt sea spray test? I'm very sure it will. When it does, we will announce it. We're at 20,000 hours. It's continuing to go into a lab, be in salt sea spray in St. Louis, Missouri. The 25,000 hours is definitely a good benchmark. I think we'll be the second only paint to ever get to that for salt sea spray resistance. Just to be clear, that is where you're spraying salt water continually onto it for 25,000 hours without any corrosion. It basically means it is not going, because that basically does not happen otherwise in those kind of conditions. Any update on G Lubricant patent? It is coming through. We will be processing, allowing that to communicating that once final. Is a very prestigious, very clear going, and hence we've got a lot of confidence that will come through. Now that you have blending plants, pilot slurry, and battery development center all operational, where do you see the biggest bottleneck? Geez, that's an excellent question, because it's pretty much everything we're doing every day. Regulatory timing is surely, America's is clearly the bottleneck there. Although hopefully we've great consultants and a lot of work internally. We've got through that. Hopefully, the end of this year we'll have all that clear around the whole world. Market awareness is happening. In Thermal XR, you can see people are reaching out and saying, "I've heard about you, I want to work with you." But G Lubricant is definitely behind that. It's only a year old really. So market awareness for G Lubricant is, I think, once people get there, people will start to see that this really needs to be in every vehicle and every engine. understand the science behind it, you'd expect that as well. So yeah, that's definitely hold us back. Capacity will be for thermal XR around data centers. Graphene production we have and developed the ability to take and make it into a product and resell. Graphene production from others and then using that in our products. So we aim to tap that as much as possible. This is intentional. We've built this business so that we can products and obviously make a whole lot more margin out of that because we have the brand, the patents, the production, and the customers. All of those will come in, and data center coatings will be quite a large, interesting to solve for graphene capacity. When we get into Super G, they'll have to be separate projects that you'd set up because they are such large volumes. And we're focusing on these liquid dose. For Super G battery cathode additive, what's the market size? Yeah, time on arrival, excellent question. We're working with the big to get that, and we have been working for a while, probably at least 2-3 months now, to get the performance characteristics of Super G out. They will come out when we've got them. We don't do anything with one slice. We have to repeat it multiple times before we know is exactly what when we know how to do it. So once we get that, we will be sharing it. We have had good results with a number of large battery company / supply chain companies, and their conversations are going well, but we can't announce those. So we need to get our own testing out. And we're working on that now. Highlight diesel engine replacement, aviation, rail, and power tools as potential applications. Which one or two verticals do you believe could become the hero for early adopters for the Graphene Aluminium-ion platform? I think that you've got the diesel engine replacement is definitely an important area. Grid is another area. I think the whole we're quite disruptive in this space. We think the whole focus on getting long life batteries, long journey batteries, long energy density is missing the point. People don't want to be handling or managing energy. They'd rather it to be as quick as and unpainful and inconvenient as possible. That's what the oil companies have been doing for a decade, trying to get out of people's road and just give them the product without being featured. Small target, even though they are a big one. And yet I think people have been wrongly focused on getting the long life, long road batteries, so highest energy density, rather than trying to get a fast charging battery. Would you want your phone to be recharged in 2 minutes, or do you want to continue to wait for 2-3 hours? That's the question. And people inevitably say, I want it in 2 minutes. So how do you focus on that when you have a battery that can do that? And I think we will see which industry will pick it up faster. Some of those industries you list there are very slow. They've got a thing that they do. They've got to go through that thing, and we've been engaging them. Others, I think, will be a lot easier to change and update, and it'll be very interesting to see who picks it up. B2B batteries for fleet are basically too expensive, and they take too long to charge right now. There are definitely some out there. Hopefully we can really change that optic. With sales testing activity, North America, Europe, and Asia, are there any inbound or graphities where inbound interest has surprised you and could merit a dedicated regional partnership with JV structure? South America has gone really well. I think Europe has really surprised me with how much gusto we've received. There's really nothing that it's in the market competing with us in that space for the liquids. I think at this point where we don't want to slow down with JVs yet, if we are going to be taking on a JV partner, they will be very, very clearly market accessed and focused on jump starting volumes. We get requests for all different types of partnerships, JVs, all the time. as you'd expect. But we're keeping our powder dry until we see something that really is going to make us work. We're fine in cutting up the pie. It's, you know, the way you could, but you need to be done properly. The aluminium-ion battery shows energy density similar to LTO, but with 6-minute fast charging and strong safety characteristics. This is one of the key milestones that will allow you to price closer to premium LTO levels as you move forward. Yeah, I think what we need to get to is longevity. I think we've got about 600 cycles at 6-minute cycles. 100. So we're already double that at the same energy density, but a lead acid takes 12 hours to charge and ours takes 6 minutes to charge. So we're already a lot better than lead acid. We'll come out shortly and we'll show, you know, how that's progressing. We are doing better in the lab, and we'll show that once we've actually verified it all. So, you know, I think once we get to that high cyclability, and you really got to push to, so the 10,000 cycles, you can then start to see some, you know, much higher pricing, because you can say, look, this is the battery for life. You're never going to change it out, which is obviously LTO's pitch. So I think cyclability will get us higher pricing, but cyclability will also get us into another league of our own as well. Proprietary plasma process bypasses graphite mining and is not constrained by Chinese graphite supply. How are potential customers valuing strategic supply security when they model long-term partnerships with GMG? They certainly are interested. They do want to see us having, I think that will definitely help. If you imagine these large companies looking at us and seeing one plant in Brisbane, supply risk looking from their point of view. So that's another reason why we're really looking to progress the various plants in North America. What quarter in 2026 is GMG planning to uplist the USA Stock Exchange? Well, I can't talk about that, or even if we are, I could not say. So sorry about that. Looking beyond New Calgon, Rio Tinto have any new strategic initiated directly as a result of the December 2025-2026 news flow? What sectors are you seeing the most promising early stages? There's a number of strategic dialogues, and we maintain them with various verticals, and it keeps us very, very busy. They're waiting for next milestones that they've said, once you do that, we'll come back. On product performance generally, the whole news flow for this has definitely increased. The protection that we try to maintain also is that we have so many large, when he tries to be a bit aggressive, then we have others that can protect us. So we're keeping our powder dry there. There's a number of things that we think we can progress things forward. And then I think there'll be things further progressed by these big companies, because we obviously need partners to progress. Multiple recent updates. What are the 1 or 2 near-term catalysts you believe the market is still underappreciating that could support a further rerouting if executed well? Definitely thermal XR delivery for our for the opportunity in data centers, American air conditioning industry, as well as obviously OEMs like Bayer. So you put all that together, a battery update, a Super G update, performance updates for various different products. We expect in the next couple of months.
The battery guy is here.
Then what we have then, a number of other questions, but I think we're probably running out of time. I'll be able to respond once I get the questions from OTC, and I'll come back on email. So I really appreciate your time, and especially the number of questions. I can see I only got through about half of them, and I aim to respond to them all. Thanks so much for listening, and I enjoy your support. Thank you.